Hello friends, Sarah Sunstone here, and welcome back to Wish I Knew. In today's episode, I'll be sharing everything you need to know about Tales of the Shire to help you determine if this game is the right fit for you. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Now, Tales of the Shire is a cozy life simulation game where you get to experience life in the Shire. The game's goal is for players to live their idyllic life as a hobbit in a time set between the story of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. I was actually able to preview the game late last year, so everything I'm sharing in today's video is based on my early impressions from going hands-on with the game. Right as you get started, you'll be able to create your very own Hobbit character for this slice of life experience. This includes body customization in terms of both build and weight. Interestingly, you'll also be able to select from a number of different personalities, which are reflected in your expression, from grumpy to jolly and everything in between. You can also pick your skin tone, Hobbit-inspired hairstyles and colors, eyebrows, face shape, ear shape, eye shape and color, nose shape, mouth shape, and finally, foot hairstyle. Yeah, you heard me right. I mean, we are playing as hobbits after all, so I guess it tracks. You'll also get to choose from a few different starter outfits, divided into categories of tops, bottoms, outerwear, and accessories, with seemingly no restrictions for mixing and matching. You'll also be able to unlock additional outfits throughout your gameplay, so if you don't love the options you get at the beginning, you'll be able to switch it up later on. Finally, you will pick your very own Hobbit name, which can either be a preset name, or you can come up with your own first and last name combination. You can actually type out your first name and then pick from a number of pre-selected last names. So mine was Sunstone good enough. Now, I think it's important to note here that you really are creating a Hobbit character that fits right into this specific world. While there are a good number of different features to mix and match with and reflect aspects of your own personal real-life traits, you aren't going to be creating a character that looks like you, rather a Hobbit version of yourself at best. You also don't need to worry about locking yourself into these selections from the beginning of the game. You can edit your appearance later on through the wardrobe that is found in your bedroom, so it's okay if you change your mind. Now, this game seems to place greater emphasis on the simple day-to-day moments rather than telling an epic story of twists and turns. However, there is an overarching narrative that you will discover. Shortly after you arrive in Bywater, you learn that this place has a problem. It might not actually be a village. And this is a very serious problem for the local hobbits. You'll play a big part in building the community up and turning it into the kind of village the whole Shire would envy. You do this through the game's main and side stories, which explore Hobbit-sized problems in a Hobbit-sized world and really focus on community. You will also get to experience a day-night cycle and colorful seasonal changes around Bywater, so you can appreciate the landscapes from all new perspectives. If you do stay up too late, you will pass out and end up sleeping in on the next day, which will shorten the time you have to explore. However, the days themselves are a pretty decent length to begin with, so it's not too big of a loss if you mismanage your time or get caught up in the moment. I myself am very guilty of this. In terms of the world and its narrative, if you're the type to enjoy little bite-sized stories about your next-door neighbor's chicken problem or the local shopkeeper's quest for berries, then you'll appreciate the tiny tales and enjoy lending a helping hand. But if you're expecting some kind of heroic tale of epic proportions, then this probably is not the game for you. You can explore Bywater and its surrounding areas at your leisure, more openly, or guided by quests. And in this game, quests are actually very aptly called tales, which can be tracked with the help of your trusty map. However, this game actually has a unique guidance system where adorable little birds will indicate the path to your next objective, acting as a bit of a breadcrumb trail for you to follow. Of course, you don't have to follow the birds, you could just reference your map or freestyle, but they are there to help out. And I really loved this thoughtful touch, which offered me sort of an immersive guidance system while also allowing me freedom of exploration. You'll also be able to directly track the townsfolk according to their schedules once you've met them, so if you need to turn in a quest, the folks shouldn't be too tricky to find. The map isn't incredibly expansive, it's more on the quaint and cozy side of scales, but it does still offer a good amount of charming little secrets to discover and of course new friends to meet. Plus, as your ties to the community of Bywater and your bonds with your friends grow as you complete tales, your fellowship increases, which allows you to progress in the story. I would like to note that it seems many, if not most, of the quests heavily revolve around 3 things. 1, engaging with the townsfolk through lots of dialogue. 2, running around Bywater. And 3, cooking. It was very fetch questy in my time with the preview, which can be enjoyable or tiring just depending on exactly how it's implemented and your specific playstyle. So if you're trying to mainline the quests rather than stopping along the way to do other activities, your experience of the quest system may vary depending on all those factors. Also keep in mind this system might also evolve as the game progresses, and quest types could be expanded upon, but it is very fetch questy in the early game at the least. As you settle into your new life in Bywater, the local residents will introduce you to the many different activities you can enjoy day to day. You'll first be introduced to cooking, which plays such a big role in this game that we're actually going to circle back to it in just a bit. Next, you'll unlock a fishing rod, which will be added to your tool wheel. We love a tool wheel. From this point, you can catch fish all around Bywater by spotting ripples on the water surface, casting your rod, and reeling them in. The fishing minigame involves first opposing the direction of the fish to drain its stamina, then reeling in the fish without allowing tension to snap the line. It's fairly simple, not too frustrating, nothing to write home about, but quite enjoyable. And you don't need to worry about catching too many fish because each fishing spot will repopulate at each new section of the day. The fish will have preferred locations, seasons, weather, and time of day, so there's lots of variety here. And as you catch more fish, your knowledge on Bywater's waterways will improve, which will be reflected in your encyclopedia, which tracks everything you discover. You'll also be introduced to gardening, which will allow you to grow your own ingredients from the comfort of your Hobbit home. You'll unlock a watering can, so you can plant seeds and water the garden beds daily. The garden beds are already there for you back at your home. And essentially, the better you take care of what you're growing, the higher the chance of a more delicious harvest. And deliciousness is actually a sort of measure in the game. You'll also be introduced to foraging, one of my favorite activities, because it really allows you to explore the world as you collect. You can forage nuts, berries, mushrooms, herbs, and more, and items you collect from around the world will be added to your backpack with a separate inventory for quest items and seeds. While you can definitely just find forageables all on your own, there are also little butterflies that will guide you to those forageables. The fish, produce, and forageables that you collect can be used to cook delicious meals, sold at shops, or used to complete quests. Outside of these activities, much of your time will be spent exploring, building relationships with the townsfolk, listening in on the local drama, shopping from in-game markets, and enjoying simple moments. There is also a photo mode that I'd like to mention with emotes for your character to use. But one of the most promising gameplay activities in this game, in my opinion, involves decorating your own Hobbit hole, which has been inherited from a generous relative who, in her old age, boarded off many of the rooms to save her time on cleaning and upkeep. So as you explore Bywater and deepen your ties to the community, you'll actually be able to access those rooms to expand your Hobbit hole and add your personal touch to each space. You can tell that the developers put a lot of time into fine-tuning the decoration mode. You can customize the exterior and interior walls, as well as the interior flooring. You can also change window frames, so while you can't modify the actual structure of your Hobbit hole, you can change a lot of those individual elements. You can also precisely place furniture and decor with the flexible gridless placement system, so you've got free movement when deciding where to place things. You can rotate items on angles. You can place stuff on stuff. You can mount items to the wall. You can mount wall shelves and put items on the shelves, so there's a great deal of flexibility here with regards to decorating specifically. This also allows you to create different types of rooms. You can make a cozy little library, you can make a bedroom. You could also create just a little cozy nook where you could see yourself curling up with a cup of tea. You can also decorate outside, so you can customize the exterior spaces around your garden. And while you will start out with some furniture in your home, you'll also be gifted plenty from the locals by completing tales or quests, building relationships with your neighbors, or by cooking a particularly delicious meal that another Hobbit was looking forward to. You also have a post box at your home, which allows you to receive item deliveries, personal letters, RSVPs, and more, including brand new tales or quests to pick up. If the feather is up, there's post ready to collect, so be sure to check back to your mailbox regularly. Now, as I previously mentioned, mentioned, another major focus of this game is cooking, and specifically shared meals. This is very much how you will build your relationships within the community, because the way to a hobbit's heart seems to be through their stomach. You can keep track of all of the townsfolk through your encyclopedia. They'll each have unique bios and specific cravings. As you host and share meals with the food you've prepared, you will level up your relationships with each of the townsfolk and unlock different friendship milestone rewards. To do this, you will use a series of ingredients that you collect throughout the world to make a variety of different recipes. You can get ingredients through fishing, foraging, and gardening. You can also be gifted ingredients, rewarded them for completing quests, and you can also purchase them from the local markets. And the more delicious the ingredients, the more delicious the meal. Recipes will give you a list of ingredients needed and a flavor profile, so you can pick out the best options to prepare for each shared meal depending on the townsfolk's cravings. Some ingredients will require preparation through various cooking stations, like a cutting board or a frying pan, before they can actually be assembled into the dish itself. And you will unlock new cooking stations as you progress. As you complete a variety of cooking-related minigames, you will also be matching the ingredients to different textures on the smooth to chunky and crisp to tender spectrums. Once everything is assembled, you'll be able to serve the meal, which is done by actually setting the table with the food and possibly decorations before sharing the meal. As I previously mentioned, this is the best way to build your relationships with the townsfolk and seems to be heavily baked into the gameplay loop. So if you aren't interested in these systems, this might not be super enjoyable for you to progress in the game, because you will need to cook to unlock all kinds of things. Now, Tales of the Shire is out on Steam, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and the Nintendo Switch, both digitally and physically. This is a single-player experience, so it's not one you can share directly with your friends unless you're parallel playing. And now that the game is releasing after being delayed twice, I was really hoping to see it more polished in its appearance and optimized in terms of how it runs, but it does look very close to what I experienced in the early preview last year, unfortunately. It also seems that it is running really poorly on the Nintendo Switch, so I would advise against getting it on that platform and opt for one of the other consoles or Steam instead. I think this game could be a great fit for you if you're looking for a simple experience and are drawn to the gameplay activities I've outlined today. You'll have to enjoy reading, or else you'll probably spend lots of time skipping through dialogue because there's no voice acting. You'll also need to be okay with the visual style, because it certainly isn't for everyone. I'm personally not the biggest fan of it myself. Some of the environments are really nice, but overall I still feel like it lacks a lot of polish, especially when it comes to the character models. So I totally understand if that puts you off entirely. You'll probably really enjoy this game if you like designing with the flexibility the mechanics seem to offer, while keeping in mind the restrictions or challenges of designing within and around the unique Hobbit Home shape. Overall, I certainly don't think this game will appeal to everyone, but I think the game's thoughtful and charming features will still captivate many. So I hope this video could help you decide if Tales of the Shire might be the right fit for you. On top of all of this, I will have some extended gameplay linked in the description if you'd just like to see more before you make that choice. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you'll be picking this one up or passing, and I'd also love to hear which aspects of the game are the most charming to you, or on the other side of it, what you'd like to see improved. Anything and everything, you know I always love hearing from you. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, I love you all, and until next time, take care.